Good afternoon. This is the 12th of January, about 15:30 local time, my time. You can guess what time that is. I've got a map up there so you can figure out what part of the world I'm in. This is in reference to some news articles I've seen just this afternoon about, kind of being sensationalized that the special forces are conducting training in North Carolina, so forth. And this is where, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that I think it's important to do your research first and foremost. Now, I have a little bit of a background understanding of what's going on here. It happens every single year. This is an exercise called Robin Sage, and it is part of the Special Forces Q course. All right. And so it's being sensationalized now is that the U.S. military is being trained for like an insurrection or whatnot. So let's go ahead and move screens. Now, if you notice, I'm going to go ahead and scroll this up a little bit. We notice that this is July 6, 2016. I don't know the history of Robin Sage, but I know it goes back to at least the 80s. And this is an annual thing, right? So Robin Sage, the Unconventional Warfare exercise. Now, you're going to see this Unconventional Warfare exercise and some of the nomenclature used in here, used in today's meetings and so forth. So this is if you're not used to the military or the U.S. Army's training regiment, Robin Sage goes on every single year this time of year. And it's usually in the springtime sometime. Okay, so the U.S. Special Forces Qualification Course, or SFQC, culminates in an unconventional warfare exercise, which is what they're saying today, known as Robin Sage. The students, prospective Green Berets, enter the exercise after many long months of intensive training. The exercise is conducted in the hills of western North Carolina. The scenario places the detachment in a fictional country of Pineland, and the mission is to assist the resistance movement and the defeat of the forces occupying Pineland. Now, if you understand the mission of the Special Forces, this is the mission of the Special Forces. So you have other special operations groups out there. You have SEALs, everybody knows what the SEALs, and they go in there for these high-intensity in-and-out missions. You have the Rangers, which they jump in, and they're famous for taking airfields and small plots of ground, right? But they're kind of like a 48 to 72 hour mission. They jump in, hold the ground, wait for conventional forces to roll in, and then they go back to EMREs and get ready for whatever they're going to do next. And then there's, of course, Delta, which I specifically don't know I only have anecdotal knowledge of Delta. And then you have MARFOR. It used to be Marine Recon, right? So when I was active, it was Marine Recon. They changed it to MARFOR. And, I guess they're kind of like a land-based special operations for the Marine Corps. I don't know anything specific. And I thought they were kind of silly meatheads when I was active duty working with MARFOR. And then I don't think the Air Force has anything. Maybe some of their TACPs. Their TACPs will get assigned to some of these special operations groups. And then you have the Green Berets. Green Berets are meant to drop into a place and train up the locals, right? So you'll get maybe, say 50, a platoon of Green Berets and support staff to go in, and they're going to train up like a region of people to be kind of like fighters. That's the unconventional warfare aspect of it. The Green Berets may do some direct action as well while they're training the locals to fend for themselves, but that's the mission of the Green Berets. So in this Robin Sage exercise, that's what they do. And the funny thing about it is if you're up here everybody that lives in that area, because people that live in this area that Robin Sage is conducted every year are very well aware of this. And some of the people that live there, they may be tagged to be helping the occupying force. They may be tagged to help the resistant movement. And some people may just do this on their own, right? Because you never know that, like, in the middle of the night, a team might come up in your backyard looking for someplace, and if everybody knows that Robin Sage is going on, they'll either help or they'll either assist or be adversarial, like letting somebody else know, hey, I got this team, and so forth. But it's truly not an adversarial exercise. It's training. The exercise is conducted by the SF schoolhouse located in Bragg with the assistance from other Army units such as the 82nd from Bragg and elsewhere. The supporting military units fill the role of Op 4, the bad guys, and members of the guerrilla band, the good guys. The schoolhouse is assisted by local residents and defense contractors who support or provide support and perform duties as role players. The students of the qualification course are formed into student detachments, very similar to SF detachments, and of the 7 SF groups. Prior to Robin Sage exercise, the students receive instruction in unconventional warfare, including the topics of guerrilla warfare, sabotage, intelligence, and subversion. The detachment enters a planning and preparation stage called isolation at Camp McCall, North Carolina. Camp McCall is not far from Fort Bragg, and I do believe that's a National Guard place too as well. They conduct mission analysis and plan for their infiltration, link up, and subsequent activities while in the isolation phase, and yada yada yada. And working with indigenous forces like the local population is a key element of the many different types of missions the U.S. Special Forces is tasked with around the world. The Robin Sage exercise is an important part of the SFQ course, as it prepares the prospective SF soldier for a variety of missions and how to work with indigenous forces. The students are confronted with a variety of complex problems that they will need to work through, and replicating situations they will encounter when deployed on Special Forces missions. So, this is just a little bub. How long has this been going now? For a couple minutes, I suppose. I don't see my counter. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, this is a little bub because this today has been kind of making the rounds as like unconventional warfare exercises by the United States Army planning for a civil war. This is Robin Sage. This happens every year. Okay? Everybody in the Army knows about Robin Sage. And if you've been lucky enough, which I've never done it myself personally, you've been a player, an actor for Robin Sage in one way or the other. And, and that's it. Like any bit of information you get nowadays, no matter who you believe and who you want to believe, always verify. Trust but verify. If somebody's sensationalizing something for some reason, it begs to be verified. And if you just put in Special Forces Unconventional Warfare, North Carolina, you're going to even probably just come... Let's do that. Special Forces... how about if I spell it right? Conventional Warfare, North Carolina. And let's see if this search comes up with Robin Sage. U.S. Army fights in guerrilla freedom fighters, part of, MSNBC, as part of an unconventional warfare exercise. Same thing with Daily Mail. Maybe this is why it's coming up, because like The Hill, Daily Mail, and whatever this MSN WGHP is. But let's see if, they're sensationalizing that. They're sensationalizing news breaks. See if they, just in the headlines, do we see Robin Sage? Do we see Robin Sage? But even here it says U.S. Army's annual unconventional warfare exercise. Army to stage realistic guerrilla warfare exercise, developing unconventional warfare, the creation of, this even goes back to July 1952. I don't know what this website is. Alright, it's kind of the history of the Green Berets. I'm going to get into song. Sock.mil, that might be a good one to go to. You see, like, in just the past 8 hours, though, people are kind of sensationalizing this. And this is from the left and from the right, and I would say that they're maybe on the fringes of left and right, and I'm not going to go through this pocket guide. But if you want a pocket guide, hey, that's not a bad idea. I'm just going to go ahead and download that, and I'm going to put that on my documents, and we'll go ahead and download that. It's April 2016. But if you notice, like, even if we go to, let's go in the past day, how many of these have popped up? And maybe we'll see ChristianAction.org, which led to 2002 to one soldier's death. Training accidents happen. happen in Ranger School, happens in anything where high intensity training. This one's yournews.com, Newsbreak, whatever the Vine is, SoftX, Special Forces to conduct a Robin Sage training exercise, and that's from today. And they're still doing the Pineland, just like we used to use Krasnovia, for other training exercises, especially like NTC. Krasnov is red, by the way, in Russian. So it was the red place, the red country. Anyways, you feel like the news is being sensationalized. You see a whole bunch of headlines kind of like, oh my God, the Army's training. Like, well, thank God, because what else are they going to do getting fat? Look it up. Just put in the keywords like Special Forces, Unconventional Warfare, North Carolina. That's what's in all of these headlines here, right? Look it up. Figure out what it is. And you're going to find out. Robin Sage is an annual exercise. Anyways, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do your due diligence to make sure that the information you're getting is not sensationalized or trying to steer you in a certain direction, and to try to get down to what's closer to facts. And don't rely on one news source or one outlet or one person to tell you that, because you know who also does that? Al-Qaeda does that, right? Taliban does that. You only trust the imam for the news, and everything else is banned. China does the same thing. Only news from inside China is good, and everybody else is bad. North Korea does the same thing. So don't rely on the single news source ever for anything. Go outside that, and we have the freedom in this country as of right now to do exactly that. So do your due diligence, and if somebody's trying to get you worked up about something, calm yourself by getting more information. All right, that's all I have, boys and girls. If you have any comments, questions, leave them down below, and have a nice day.